Hello there, my name is Pavlo Shterma, and now we'll unveil the top news of these days. December 6th is the Day of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The armed forces are the guarantor of life, security and freedom for all citizens of Ukraine. Ukrainians highly value their defenders, respect them, root for them, believe in them, support and help. The Armed Forces of Ukraine is really a people's army. It is the army of teachers and drivers, miners and IT specialists, engineers and plumbers, men and women of all specialities stood for the defense of the country and the Ukrainian and European people. During the full-scale war, hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians of different social status, regional and ethnic origin joined its ranks. Service in the armed forces is a matter of honor and the most prestigious profession now. Ukraine, more than ever, needs defenders today to repel the Russian aggression. The Ukrainian army is one of the strongest in the world. It has a unique experience of waging a modern war with a far superior opponent.
День Збройних сил України.
The Day of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a day of the strong, a day of the brave, a day of the unbreakable, men and women, warriors, heroes, all those who continue to defend the state and all those who gave their lives not to give up Ukraine. And right now I am heading to the Wall of Remembrance. Many people know where it is, many have been there, and for those who haven't been yet, it's worth going, to see the faces of our heroes, to look into their eyes and just be silent, and in that silence to reflect, to remember, to compare this morning with the morning 651 days ago, how loud it was and how fearful it was for many. But fear was defeated, and now everyone has heard about us, how tough it was back then, but now we are not ashamed. To recall what we could have lost and what we have preserved, knowing exactly who made it possible, for the sake of the what exactly, knowing what exactly we are all defending. We are defending our own, we are defending what's ours.
Every Ukrainian now have a person whom we knew personally and who is no longer alive. Because of mortar fire, a sniper's bullet, because of rocket attack, etc. And today we remember each of our soldiers whom we knew personally, or even those whom we just encountered in train car, bus, store, or just on the street. Ukrainian soldiers are titans. Ukrainian soldiers are cyborgs. This is the army, and it is ours. It is the army because not every group of armed forces can be called an army. And not every army can be fully called its own. We, civilians, have so many epithets for our defenders that it will be difficult to list all of them, because they are not only descendants of our ancient Cossacks, they are also our cats, if you knew with what love they treat all living things that surround them. How they take care of the animals that remained in the frontline cities, how they hug their relatives, firmly but so tenderly, as no one in the world can. And you know what else is surprising? Today, people who are at the beginning of the year did not think that they would wear a military uniform are at the front and protecting Ukraine and the whole of Europe.
Дорогі бойові побратими і посестри.
I thank everyone who does their hard work. I bow my head before your feet, in front of every soldier, sergeant and officer, especially in the front of those who today, in the heat of battle and under fire, in cold frozen trenches and ruins, firmly hold the defense and destroy the insidious enemy. It is you, regardless of titles and positions, who stand for the future of our children. This is what we fight for, not having the right to lose. Proud of everyone who is in the ranks of the Armed Forces of Ukraine today. Dear defenders, for several years in a row, on this day, instead of congratulations, the whole country says thank you. The armies of the world admire you. The enemy is afraid of you. Every Ukrainian who is in temporary occupied territory is waiting for you. And all our people are praying for you. Ukraine does not give up thanks to you. And thanks to you, I am convinced again and again, no matter how difficult it is for us, there will definitely be no shame.
In the daily fight against the enemy, the army suffers painful losses. We gratefully honor the memory of all those who died for Ukraine, look after their families and the soldiers maimed by the war. The New Europe Center has published the latest results of the sociological research. The war has not broken Ukrainians. They are ready to fight and believe in victory. It is absolutely unacceptable for Ukrainians to renounce their temporarily occupied territories, because it is our territory and no wishes of the Kremlin dictator and his propaganda will change the status of Ukrainian soil. Moreover, the greater number of Ukrainians don't want any connections with Russia. Would you personally like to deal with people who attack your cities and villages, kill your loved ones and relatives, loot and destroy everything they can reach with their hands? That's why the majority of Ukrainians firmly support the European and Euro-Atlantic integration of our country and will not agree to abandon the chosen future for the sake of an illusory peace with Moscow.
Any statement by the aggressor country about negotiations or claims that the Russian Federation never intended to conquer Ukraine, despite the evident large-scale invasion, mass killings of civilians, systematic construction of torture chambers and filtration camps in the occupied territories, and the abduction of the children, are unequivocal attempts to justify aggression, to avoid responsibility, to absolve themselves of accusation of the one-side aggression with clear genocide intention, and to gain an operational or tactical pause in the war, in order to finally plunge Ukraine's partners into informational chaos during the pause, make adjustments to their military strategy, update military production, and sharply escalate destructive actions at the next stage of the war. Russia never offers genuine negotiation until it suffers significant defeats. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the Office of the President of Ukraine on social network X, formerly Twitter.
Citizens of Ukraine reject any concessions to the aggressor, including the reduction of the Ukrainian army or the establishment of the Russian language as a state one. Ukrainians assess the situation realistically. Compromises, concessions and appeasement of the aggressor will not put an end to this war. The president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, initiated preparations to annex part of Guyana. Ukraine strongly condemns any attempts of annexation in the world and will not recognize illegal changes in state borders.
The resolution of any disputed issue and disagreement shall be done only on the basis of the mechanism provided for the international law, in accordance with the purpose and principles of the UN Charter. The parties to the dispute must comply with the legally binding order of the International Court of Justice on provisional measures and must not resort to unilateral action that could aggravate the situation. Comment of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine.
Russia's illegal annexation of Ukraine's territory has set a dangerous precedent for global security and law, setting a bad example for dictatorial regimes. The Kremlin's goal is not just to seize Ukraine, but to destroy the international law, which is based, among other things, on respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of its entities. Maduro is an ally of Putin who imitates his behavior and perhaps cooperates with the Russian tyrant. To divert the world's attention from its war of aggression against Ukraine, Russia is making efforts to destabilize the Middle East, the African continent, and now Latin America. And with such steps, Russia turns away countries that previously tried to maintain neutrality. For example, Brazil has already begun to withdraw troops to its northern borders, near Venezuela and Guyana. And Brazilian President Lula da Silva warned that Putin would be arrested on the basis of an ICC warrant at the G20 summit if he comes. For the sake of the Kremlin dictator, Brazil will not violate the Rome Statute. Fearing criminal prosecution, the Russian dictator does not appear at many important events, such as the BRICS summit in South Africa or the G20 in India. In August, South Africa hosted the BRICS summit, but Putin did not attend it. CSTO member Armenia ratified the Rome Statute already after the appearance of the warrant for Putin's arrest. That concludes our today's video. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to our UATV channel for more news from Ukraine. Your support really matters. Goodbye.